Hi guys, my name's India and I am your newest real estate agent here in the Los Angeles area. What's up? Yes, so I know what brings you all here today. Like the name of the video is, how did I pass the real estate exam? Yes. Um, so about that. So pretty much, a lot of people think that the real estate exam is super hard, which honestly, it can be. It definitely can be, especially depending on which state you're trying to get your license in. But yeah, anyways, this is about California and my journey of how I went ahead and passed the real estate exam. So pretty much how it started is I actually have been trying to do real estate. I'm sorry, a little background about me. I have been trying to do real estate for probably like the last 6 years here in California. I've been out here now for about 8 years. I'm originally from Ohio, Cleveland. What's up? 216-330. What's up? Anyway, yeah, I've been trying to do real estate like literally for the past, like I said, going on I'll probably say 6 or 7 years since I've been out here. The first time I ever tried it, I actually did in-person classes, and it's just, I'm not sure if it's like the people who were teaching it or if it was just like where I was at the time, because at the time it was like 2016 and I had just got my bachelor's degree from University of Akron, turn up. I just got my bachelor's degree in 2013. So with me trying to do a real estate license 3 years later, I was still kind of mentally burnt out from school. So like you already know how that is. Like when you're mentally burnt out, you're not trying to do like anything else like with school. Like you're just literally trying to just live your life and that's it. And that's like kind of where I was mentally. So I'm not sure if it was just my mindset or simply just the people who were teaching the class, because honestly, they, not to be like weird or anything, but they made real estate sound pretty boring. I'm not gonna lie. Like from what I wanted to do and from what they were talking about, it just didn't really add up. So midway through me taking those live classes, I actually ended up kind of losing interest like pretty heavy. And not to mention I was working full time. I was out doing things in entertainment, because I actually do work in entertainment as well, as far as like on the acting side, things like that. And obviously like radio things, things like that. So it's like I was just kind of like somewhere else mentally, but I still was interested in real estate enough to actually want to pursue it. But like I just said, the people who were teaching it just made it sound super boring. They were just kind of making it sound like something I didn't really want to do. So I kind of mentally like tuned out and zoned out midway through the course. And I had already, I believe I had already signed up to take the exam at the time, which was back in, again, this was like 2016, I want to say. I was already obligated to take the exam, so I was like, let me just go try and take it. And mind you, I didn't study or anything. I pretty much was zoned out the whole rest of the time I was taking the courses. So mentally, I just really I wasn't really in any position or space to even take the exam, but I still went ahead and took it. And of course I didn't do well. So I was like, okay, maybe it's just not for me. And I just continued working at the job that I was working at the time, which was another sales job. Ended up leaving that job in 2017, pursued entertainment full time for about a year. Then my money got low, of course, like what happens, because even if you are someone who works well in entertainment, you don't always make the most money until you're like A-list. So didn't make a lot of money that first year. So of course I had to go back to corporate America, which was, at the time I was like, okay, whatever. Also got married, had my son. I now have a daughter. My daughter's like 10 months old. Hey, boo. But yeah, so it's like, at the time I had like a lot of life changes. So it just wasn't really the best time for me to really pursue real estate like that. So fast forward to, I want to say like 2020 or 2021. I forget which year. But a couple years ago, I actually tried it again. And I actually was blessed enough to find free classes from Keller Williams, which were offered through Kaplan. It's like an online education program. But I think all you need is like a code from a certain like Keller Williams broker here in California. I'm not sure if other states do it. Again, this is here in California. I'm telling you my journey. But yeah, so it's like you get like a code, and then you put the code in when you go to, they send you a link to, of course. When you go to the link with Kaplan, it pretty much takes you to the real estate classes, which normally do cost money. It does cost money normally, but with this code, it allows you to take them for free, and you have access to take the course for up to 6 months. After 6 months, if you don't complete the courses, you pretty much have to either just pay again or just go somewhere else. I'm sorry, pay, not pay again, but you have to pay if you don't finish your courses within 6 months, or you pretty much can just go somewhere else and take your classes there. So this happened in 2021, I want to say. Someone reached out to me from Keller Williams. I was interested in real estate again. So they said, hey, we offer these free classes. You should take them. Da, da, da. I said, sure, like, why not? But at the time, I was working a job that I had been at that time, I had been in that job for about a little over 2 years, and I was liking it a lot. And I was making like okay money, not the best money, but I was making pretty okay money. And just like last time, I kind of got sidetracked. But because it was online, of course, there wasn't anyone making it boring. But I just kind of got sidetracked with just regular life, everyday life, working my job. So again, lost interest and ended up not finishing before the 6 months was up. So I was like, okay, whatever. Again, maybe it's just not really my time for that. So fast forward to beginning of this year, 2023. I went ahead and I just had like a super strong desire to pursue real estate again, because at this point I was still working in sales, but I just wasn't making the money that I wanted to make. And I was like, you know what, let me just buckle down for once and do this real estate thing. Like, let me put my hand in it. Let me try it, because obviously, like, if I'm successful at my other positions in sales, I know I could probably go ahead and be successful at this in sales. So what I ended up doing, because of course I couldn't use the same code I got from a couple of years ago because it had already expired, because I already used it. So I was actually applying just for other brokerages. I'm not sure if anyone looks on like Indeed or like any other website where they of course have job listings, but if you do type in real estate agent as far as for like jobs available, some of the brokers will say, hey, we'll take you if you don't have a license, we offer training. So that's pretty much what I was applying for. So of course I came across Keller Williams again, and what ended up happening was another broker, this time had reached out, and they sent me another code, say, hey, we got these free classes, check them out. And I was like, you know what, let me buckle down and do these free classes, because at this point I was just pretty much like, you know what, I want to do in-person classes, but I was like, you know what, this is free. I don't really have the money to take these live classes, because those classes can be kind of pricey. They can be like anywhere from like a couple $100 all the way up to like hundreds of dollars. So I was like, you know what, free 99 it is. Like, thankfully I used that code that this broker gave me from Keller Williams, and it worked. So I went ahead and started April 1st exactly. That was the exact day I went ahead and started the courses, April 1st, 2023. And for anyone who's not familiar with it, how it works is when you are taking courses online, or really in general in California. Again, I can't speak for any other state. I can only speak for California, where I live. But how it works is, I believe each is 3 courses you have to take, 3 college level courses you have to take. I believe it's a total of like 45 credit hours, something like that, something along those lines. But for the 3 courses, there's a minimum 18-day wait period that you have to wait for each course. So in a nutshell, if you're taking the first course, which is usually Principles of Real Estate, you have to wait at least minimum 18 days as far as taking that course before you can start the next course. So it works the same way online. Doesn't matter how quickly you finish that course, because obviously you're doing it on your own time. So it doesn't matter how quickly you're finishing the course. If you're not done within 18 days, you still have to wait the 18 days, of course, to go ahead and take the next course. So it's usually like that for all 3 courses up until you reach 54 days. Now, if let's say you're at 54 days and you're still in the first course, then at that point you can then move on to the second and third whenever you're ready, just because you've already waited out those minimum 18-day requirements for each course. So, because again, 18 times 3, 54. So if you're already at that mark and you're still on like the first or second course, you can then start the next course immediately, because you've reached that time limit. So for the first course, I want to say it took me like about a little over 3 weeks to finish the first course. And pretty much what I did with the free online course, I mainly just read the entire book, which is almost 600 pages, but read the entire book. Took me a little over 3 weeks, but at the end of each course or book, I guess you can say, that you read or take, there's going to be a open book quiz that you take, and then once you pass that open book quiz, you've completed that course. So I went ahead and did that. I was actually able to finish exactly in 54 days, all 3 courses. So by the end of May, I want to say I was done with all 3 courses. So how it works here in California, you then have to submit your courses to the Department of Real Estate. They have to approve your courses, because some schools out here say that they're accredited, but they're not accredited. So you have to make sure you go to an actual school that actually would count for the college level courses you have to take for real estate, or else you do have to go somewhere else and take them again. So luckily, of course, with me taking them online via Kaplan, that of course is an accredited school, and I went ahead and submitted my completed courses to the Department of Real Estate. And here's the thing. Other states, you usually hear back right away, maybe a couple days, a day, a week, maybe at the most. Here in California, it took them, you guys, 2 full months. Yes, 2 full months to approve my courses. And that's just, I mean, think about it. California's a really big state. At first I was really confused, like, why is it gonna take so long? That's crazy. You know, other states you can just get it like within the week, or, you know, take your exam within a week after you're done. But no, before you can even schedule to take your exam, you have to wait for the Department of Real Estate, for whatever state you're in, to go ahead and approve your courses. Once they approve it, you can then go ahead and start your exam. Schedule your exam, and then that, you know, that's that. You take your exam, pass, whatever. So it took them, you guys, literally almost 2 months to the day that I submitted them. So mind you, submitted these last week in May. They literally finally got back to me last week in July, you guys, like literally all of 2 weeks ago, and said, hey, you can finally go ahead and schedule your exam. So I went ahead and scheduled my exam for August 1st. So for the following week, I gave myself like a full week to study, because of course by then, with me waiting 2 months, I wasn't studying for 2 full months straight. I studied for like the first couple weeks after I submitted it, and then after that, just kind of just chilled for a little bit, you know, did my thing. And yeah, so after I was able to finally schedule my exam, I actually could have scheduled it the next day after they reached out to me, but that was way too soon. So that's what I recommend too, is like, if you're going to take the exam, make sure you give yourself ample time to study. You don't want to take an exam and then kind of be crunched for like information, or forget all of your information because they took too long getting back to you, and now you failed the exam because you didn't study. So give yourself adequate time to study. Like I said, I didn't study the whole 2 months, but I did give myself a break mentally. And then once I heard from them, I was able to schedule my exam. I really could have scheduled it like a month or two out, but I scheduled it for the following week. So I gave myself exactly 7 days. And yeah, so how that worked, like I said, I scheduled it for August 1st, and I studied nonstop. And here's the thing, they recommend, hey, it's not good to cram. It's not good to cram, like, you know, before you take an exam, da-da-da. For me, that works. I mean, it may not work for everybody else, but it worked for me because I went ahead and studied. Also, the online course that I took, they do have a really, really great exam preparation course that's part of the curriculum. So after you do finish all 3 courses and you are able to take your exam, you can actually study with that exam, with the post-exam course that they have, which is awesome because they have a course that goes over all 3 books in over a period of videos. Now, obviously, it takes a couple days because it's a lot of videos, but it's great because if, like, again, with it being online, you don't have a teacher. So with them having the videos for the exam prep, which goes over all 3 chapters, it's almost kind of like someone is teaching you, even though it's like just a video going over information. So that helped me a lot. And actually, a few of the things that I learned in those videos while I was waiting the 7 days to take my exam, a few of those questions that they went over in the videos were actually on the exam. So that helped a lot. Another good one too that people like to use here on YouTube is it's a guy called, I believe his name is Prep Agent. I also went ahead and followed his YouTube, and I was listening to his YouTube a lot. Not like every single day, but like, you know, here and there whenever I had like free time, I would just, you know, put him on and listen to information as far as him going over the questions and answers. And it's not really good to memorize questions with the answers because obviously they may word something differently on the actual exam, and because you've already memorized the answer for that question, you may think it's something else. But always just kind of memorize to understand what they're asking, so that way you know the answer, if that makes sense. So with Prep Agent, it's so funny because the testing facility where I took the exam at was about 15 minutes from my house, so I listened to him, of course, on the way there that morning. And literally, you guys, not even joking, one of the questions that I happened to hear within those 15 minutes during my drive literally was on the exam. The exact same question with the answer and everything. So I was like, turn up, this is an instant freebie right here. So yeah, like, so every little bit helps. Like, you know, no matter how you study, whether you read, whether you watch videos, whether you go on YouTube and watch videos, like, however you study, just make sure you do it enough to where your knowledge is up there. So like I said, that definitely helped me a lot. And of course it did, because first time I took this exam, I passed it, aced it my first try around, which is great because you have to pay to take that exam. Like, you know, the exam is not cheap. So anyways, passed my exam August 1st and signed on with Keller Williams the next day, which is great. Yeah, so I'm super excited, you guys. Extra excited to start my career here in real estate in Southern California. I'm super knowledgeable. I've been keeping track of the market for the last almost year. Before I even started my real estate classes and passed my exam last week and did all that good stuff, I was keeping track of this market, which has changed so much. But yeah, I'm part of a great team here at Keller Williams, and I'm ready to go. Yeah, I'm super excited. But anyways, you guys, that's my journey and how I was able to pass the real estate exam here in California. Just a little bit more about the exam too. It's 150 questions as well, so that is a lot of questions. They give you 3 hours to take the exam. It's all multiple choice, and the good thing about it, at least while I was taking the exam, was because I studied so much leading up to it, I realized that like a lot of the questions and answers, after a while, after about the first like 25, 30 questions, it started getting easy because I was like, okay, I know this information. This is what I went over. This is what I studied. So again, if you study thoroughly, especially like leading up to the exam, you're good to go because the questions do get easy if you genuinely know the information. And obviously, with it being multiple choice, one thing I noticed too was some of the questions, not all, but some of the questions, they actually do make it easy for you to figure out which one is the answer because, for example, like let's say they'll ask you a question about a certain topic. They'll have 3 of the 4 multiple choice answers completely unrelated to what the question is about. And the thing about it is that might confuse people. Like they might think it's like a trick question, but realistically, I realize that's just their way of kind of making it a little bit easier for you to kind of determine what the right answer is. So again, it's very important that you pay attention to the question, read it thoroughly. Don't just skim through it because honestly, I'm a skimmer. But this time, like when I took that exam, I was reading like you would have thought something was wrong with me the way I was reading those questions. Like I was reading those questions like, what is this? Like I was doing it very slow because again, you have to make sure that you're understanding what they're asking because if you skim through, you might think they're asking something else that they're not, and you might choose the wrong answer because of it. So make sure you pay attention to the questions, read all the multiple choice answers. Don't just go off the first one or whichever one you think is right. Read them all. Weed them out. Could also do like the process of like elimination. So if you have 4 answers, eliminate the ones that you know immediately are not it. So boom, if A and D are not it, okay, it's between B and C. And then obviously just reread B and C, reread the question if you have to. And then if you realize, okay, C better fits the answer, then obviously the answer is C. So yeah, so just take your time taking the exam. It's a lot of questions. They give you 3 hours. You can skip the questions while you're taking the exam, but obviously you do have to answer them before you submit it. Make sure you don't forget to do that either, because if you forget to answer the questions you skipped, you will get them wrong, obviously. And one thing too I realized is if you do pass the exam, they do not tell you what your percentage is. They just literally hand you a letter that says that you passed, but the letter will be folded and stapled, and they ask you not to look at it until you get outside. I'm not sure what happens if you don't. I mean, obviously it works the same way if you fail too. Like I'm assuming they still give you the answer on a piece of paper that's folded up and stapled, and they ask you not to look at it until you get outside. But I think if you fail, they tell you the percentage that you got, so that way you know where you were at. Whereas if you pass, they don't tell you where you passed at, because you need minimum 70% to pass. But they don't tell you what the percentage is as far as if you like pretty much like, for example, if you need 70% to pass, they don't say, okay, you got 72%. Like they don't say anything like that. They just simply say, congratulations, you passed. Like, and then they tell you what the steps to do is to get your actual physical license and all that good stuff. So yeah, but like I said, luckily I'm super blessed. It did work out for me the first time. I was able to sign on to an excellent broker the very next day after I passed my exam, because I did my research. This is a broker that I have been in contact with while I was still waiting to take my exam. I actually went to a couple different brokers as well, which they were awesome. But at the end of the day, I personally went with Keller Williams because I felt like that fit my style of how I wanted to run my business as a real estate agent. That they fit my style the best, so that's why I went with them. And then it also helped too with them being like a nice name that people recognize. So, but again, you can go with any broker you want. That's another thing too. Just because you take these free classes with Keller Williams, you don't have to sign with them after you pass your exam. So after you finish the course, submit your course material, get approved to take your exam and pass, you don't have to sign with Keller Williams. You can go to, I don't know, some super nice high-end luxury broker, like, or whatever you want to do, like, EXP, like whatever. Like, you can go somewhere else to sign and run your business as a real estate agent. You don't have to sign up with Keller Williams, but again, they just simply fit my brand the best, at least of what I wanted my brand to be. So here I am with KW, as you can see behind me, and yeah. But yeah, that's my journey, you guys. Yeah, please reach out to me. Please like and subscribe. I'm trying to build my page up. You'll be getting a lot more videos from me, especially once I actually start getting these listings. You already know I mean. Just kidding. But no, yeah, so obviously the more I work, the more videos you're going to be getting. And then I'm also going to be just posting videos sporadically, just about just my journey, as a Black woman here in Los Angeles area as a real estate agent. But yeah, if you know anyone who's looking at buying, listing, even leasing, I'm definitely definitely open to helping anyone right now. I have an excellent team that's super experienced that's helping me out. So yeah, definitely please hit me up. I'm gonna have my information below for you to contact me. But yeah, definitely like and subscribe, and I will see y'all later. Bye.